What's going on, guys? I'm YST and welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. And today we're going to be taking a deep dive into arguably the #1 starter champion in the game in Kael himself. I'm going to let you in on a bit of a secret. He's actually not my favorite starter. I've always been a secret fan of Aethel personally. But I've got to admit, throughout doing all the free-to-play series over the years, I actually had a chance to start with all of the res that we get at the start. And Kael definitely took my account to the next level faster than the other ones, especially in areas such as the Demon Lord Clan Boss and the Dragon's Lair throughout my progression. So yeah, I guess the way we're going to be doing it today is from a free-to-play standpoint on my free-to-play account for 2025, as we see. And then just showcase all of those key areas where you can really shine, such as campaign farming, taking down some dungeon waves and some bosses, and even some PvP battles before you get some better replacements down the line. And then following from that, I'm actually going to go into my main account and showcasing from a later game standpoint. So you can see stuff like Doom Tower secret rooms in the hard mode, maybe some Cursed City of Centranos stages and faction wars with the Dark Hells being open today. But yeah, if that does sound cool, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button to stay tuned for some more champion guides coming very soon here on the channel. So cool, let's just head straight into the abilities and see what he's bringing to the table. So on the A1 with Dark Bolt, he's attacking one enemy with a 100% chance of applying the 2.5% version of the poison debuff for 2 turns. Now you will see there's some differences here because we've got a 5% here on the A3, but don't feel like this is completely useless. Having this on a 100% chance on an A1 is actually very valuable to get some more poison damage out on these encounters such as the Demon Lord and the Dragon as you're progressing. And you can actually enhance this later on, which I will discuss with the blessings. On the A2, we've got the Acid Rain, which attacks all enemies with a 15% chance of inflicting a critical hit and fills the turn meter of this champion by 25% for each enemy killed. So as you're killing these enemies in waves or in the campaign battles, it's just a great way to cycle his turns faster, get round to his skills to take them out faster, right? So a really cool A2 on a 3-turn cooldown, and you can of course use this in stuff like PvP battles when set up by your other champions. On the A3 with Disintegrate, we've got a 4-time random hitter with a 50% chance once booked of applying the 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. You can actually take this up to a 55% chance with the Sniper Mastery, which we're going to discuss a little bit later on, but overall going to be really effective once again in those areas. So yeah, that's his kit, and in terms of the build that we've got for the starter one, we're rocking that Lifesteal, which is going to allow you to heal by 30% of the damage dealt. And for stuff like the campaign where you're taking some hits as you progress, or in these dungeon waves or the dungeon bosses, it's just a great way to recoup that health as you're fighting on, and yeah, just really effective to start off your journeys. We've got some crit rate as the priority on the gauntlets, just try and reach that 100% crit rate threshold. And of course, in the later game, we're going to start focusing on some crit damage if you can get that crit rate in your substats. We've then got an attack percent on the chest plate here and speed on the boots because we want to be able to outlap these enemies and get as many turns out as possible, right? And in regards to the chest plate, I would say don't be scared to go stuff like defense percent for stuff like the Demon Lord Clan Boss if that's areas where you see your Kael dying frequently. Like having that extra sustain so you can get more poison damage out instead of just raw damage can actually be really effective, and I've definitely done that on my Kael before I replaced him in my Clan Boss team on my free-to-play account. So yeah, but attack percent, of course, going to allow you to scale that damage a little bit better here. In terms of your banner priorities, you want to be going for accuracy because you're not going to be able to place your effects, not just on Kael, but all of your debuffers, for example, without this accuracy debuff. So definitely trying to unlock that ascension, farming the spiders, and then getting your accuracy banner is going to be massive for your Kael, guys. In regards to your amulet, you could be going for some more support like defense or HP if you're lacking some sustain. But of course, if you're looking for that juicy damage, you want to be going for crit damage to pair with your 100% crit rate that you're going to be putting in your builds. And then in regards to your ring, you want to be going for attack percent or defense like I've gone here, primarily for the Blood Shield accessory because I was farming stuff like the Scarab King. And I was actually doing some duo strategies with the poison debuffs with my Tagore. Right? He was like one of my promo code options. And between the two of them was actually the only reason I was able to take down the Scarab King. Now, Are you going to find a replacement for Kael? I guess at some point if you get some epic or legendaries that just bring more to the table. But for an account that's like 3 or 4 months old here on my free-to-play, I still don't have any good poisonous, as you can see. And, you know, if your account goes in that same way and you don't get lucky enough, this is why I say definitely take your starter champion to 6-star, because you just don't know. And having that poison debuff is going to be massive for your progression. Not to mention stuff like ascensions and ranking up, which is a different topic. For example, nowadays, we actually get given stuff like the daily login champions. We're seeing this at the moment with, I forgot her name, is it Lemincy? Liminici? Where is she? There we go. Liminici, Chase. I'm pretty sure there's better ways to say that. But even on my free-to-play accounts, I'm like, oh, if I just wait 7 days to get my first 6-star, maybe they're going to be a lot more valuable. And to some degree, they can be. But one thing that I found was, with the Alice chase at the time, is the book requirements, the amount of ascension potions it takes. You need to get to the highest stages of the potion keeps in order to get that. And yeah, just all of these things combined, I just felt like your rare champion is such an easier build to get those max ascensions, get your accuracy banners, and just starting to get the ball rolling to start farming your campaign battles, right? In regards to the masteries here, I've actually gone on this account to the War Master, which is going to have a 60% chance of inflicting bonus damage when attacking. Bonus damage is equal to 10% of the target's max HP or 4% of the target's max HP when attacking bosses. Just giving us that greater damage, right? We've also gone the crit rate to try and get to that 100%. We've gone for crit damage with Keen Strike. Heart of Glory all the way down this left side here. We've gone Life Drink for some additional healing when attacking under 50% HP, as well as the Cycle of Violence. Now, there is many different ways you could consider depending on where you're using your Kael and how you're using him, because Whirlwind of Death is actually really effective, right? If you're not relying on the healing aspect of the kit, because you're increasing your speed by 6 for each enemy killed by this champion and stacks up in each round in a battle up to 18 speed. So in these areas like the Doom Tower, these dungeon waves where you're taking out these enemies, that Whirlwind of Death is going to allow you to snowball your abilities and reach to those speeds at a higher threshold. I also definitely recommend the support tree to get some more accuracy, heading down to Charge Focus into your Swarm Smiter. And then here is a bit where it really depends. Like, I really love Cycle of Violence, which gives you a 30% chance of decreasing the cooldown of a random skill by 1 turn if the damage inflicted by this skill exceeds 30% of the target's max HP. And as a champion, you're building for some damage. More time you're going to be getting this, a lot of procs, especially in areas like Faction Wars. So if you're not really banking on this ability, you could go to stuff like Cycle of Magic, get around to that A3 more frequently, or the Evil Eye to drop down that turn meter in stuff like PvP progression or the Fire Knight's Dungeon, if that's where you're using him, right? So these ones could be really effective. But I'd definitely say read through some of these abilities and what really caters to the team that you're bringing to the table. In regards to this fifth side here, you want to be going down to Master Hexer to extend the value of these poisons so you can start getting those stacks up on stuff like the Dragon, as well as the Sniper Mastery, which is going to allow you to increase the chances of placing your effects, such as that A3. We want to bring that up to a 55% chance of landing that debuff. And I guess briefly heading back to the gear section once again, we're going to break down some different options. I've actually gone with Perception to blend with my Lifesteal, and what's this bringing to the table? So we're getting accuracy plus 40 and then speed plus 5%. Now this is just going to be an enhanced version of the accuracy gear you're going to be farming in the Dragon's Lair. And you can obtain this by farming the Faction Wars, right? And I definitely incline you guys to push as far as possible, even if your roster is limited. Just keep climbing the stages and just gather as much bloodstone as you can. And then through this, once you unlock your forge, you're going to be able to craft these, right? So let's just do a bit of a demonstration here. So we're going to go for a rank charm, a rarity charm, just giving us that 2x chances for the higher rarities and ranks. We're going to try sneaking a little mythical one, not necessary. And then we're going to be looking for some speed in our substats here. All right, here we go. So we got a rare piece. All right, we're going to keep that bit of a crit rate in there. Let's try one more. Okay, so we got some speed, some defense percent, and, you know, trying to get those main stats on the bottom row, like as you see here with the attack percent and the speed, It's just going to be massive, especially with this set bonus. But of course, you could opt in for the normal accuracy set if you're lacking on your perception gear. So let's just bring up an infographic that we've got over at HH Gaming. Huge shout out to the team and Nub Raids for helping to put these together. So as we see, he's a poison damage dealer. We've got a 3.5-star rating on him as a starter champion. In terms of relics, if you manage to get them, a Reefy Coronet is really effective. The Malefic Talon, which is what I'm actually running at the moment, I believe, on my relics. Here we go. Giving us a 20% chance to deal 10% more damage when attacking, but most importantly, that crit damage bonus to just scale our stats here. And then we've also got, if I could just bring this up here, the Arachne Elixir. So if we just head into the section here in the Forge, Relic Crafting, into the Relic Index. And let's just try find this one here, because I definitely don't have it on this account. Here we go. So the wearer's poison debuffs deal bonus damage equal to 50% of the wearer's attack. So a great way to scale that. And then heading down into the gear and stats, lifesteal like we're seeing today, perception for that accuracy and speed, and then savage and cruel if that's something you're trying to do to build for optimal damage down the line. So yeah, lifesteal plus 2 speed is also effective here if you're trying to reach those speed thresholds. And that's definitely what I was using prior to the perception. And yeah, these are just some effective ways to consider. On the gauntlets, you're looking for crit damage or crit rate, depending on your build, and if you can get the 100% crit rate without it. Attack percent and accuracy on the chest plate, and like we mentioned, some defense percent as well, if you're lacking some sustain, or if that's what you're searching for. We want speed or attack percent, which I'm going to show the second part on my main account. And then we're looking for attack, crit damage, or accuracy and attack throughout those accessories. Blessings-wise, we're looking for Phantom Touch, which is actually what I've got my champion built in at the moment, which is going to allow us to have a chance of inflicting bonus damage to one enemy whenever this champion hits enemy targets, which is going to scale with those blessing values. And then another one which I'm a massive fan on is in the Harmony section, which is going to be the Nature's Bounty. Because whenever this champion applies a 2.5% poison, a 25% decrease attack, etc., as we see with a lot of these rare champions, it actually has a chance to convert it to the greater value. So as you see, let's just say you've got a 5-star here, if you're very lucky. You then get a 45% chance of placing the greater version of the debuff. But even with a 1-star, if you manage to get that, a 15% chance of the greater version. And that's going to correlate very well with that A1 ability to turn this 2.5% into a 5%, right? Which is just going to be very effective overall for those areas, like the Clan Boss, the Scarab King, or the Dragon's Lair. In terms of the overall stats here, we're looking for some nice sustain, some 26,000 HP, decent defense. We do have increased defense in a lot of my teams, which is helping me scale that. We've got 2.8k attack because I do want some damage in my personal build. 100% crit rate. We're a bit overkill here, but it is what it is. Better than 99%, right? We've got 164% crit damage and enough accuracy to take on the areas that I'm trying to defeat. Now, if you do want to find all of the accuracy checks you need for all of the areas in the game, I recommend going to hellhades.com, going to the stages tool, and inputting what stage you're facing. From here, it's going to give you a breakdown of what stats that you're required to use to take down those specific content. So a very valuable tool, guys. So yeah, that's the overall stats that I'm rocking. And one thing I do want to mention as well, if you have the luxury of an increased accuracy champion, such as my Both the Rancid, a champion like this is going to help you reach those accuracy thresholds as you're progressing through these dungeons if you're lacking that accuracy in your build. So I guess with that out of the way, let's just go into some of the areas that Kael's going to excel and the ways that I've been using them on the free-to-play account. So if we just go into the campaign, one of the key things that you want to do when you're starting your journey is getting to 12 free of the Brutal campaign, giving you the best bang for your silver from selling the shields, but also the XP bonus you're going to gain. I believe stage 6 gives you a little bit extra XP, but you know, we want that silver, right? And I believe the shield gives you a bit of a better bang for your buck, as they say. So cool. I'm actually using Alice at the moment, but let's just switch that over to Kael and see him in action. We're farming some war boys and this Ingrid Twist stuff. I don't know how I know his name. You can tell I do all the guides on the website. Here we go. All right, he's going to be taking them down here with that AA2 ability. Boom! Look at that. One-shot the wave in this build, guys. Then that A3, the random hitter, taking them down. We're then going to take a few hits from these enemies. Look at that War Boy showing off. Straight into this one, and we got the decreased cooldown there with the Cycle of Magic, I believe. Or the Cycle of Violence, sorry, from the support tree, and straight in with 22 seconds, guys. Now, later on, I'll showcase that as you progress into the later game, this can become significantly faster in something like a Savage build. But overall, this is all you need, right? You just want to be able to rank up your champions, farming your food, and then now you can start investing in your other champions like your... I'm not going to say the name. Lemincy Goldwing, whatever her name is, and champions like that, or any other cool ones that you want to invest in. But at the start, this is what you really want to do. Get through those stages, enable those 3-star requirements alongside your other champions, maybe pairing with one of your tanky supports that you may have got from a link or promo code. For example, I was using Tagore, who's a great reviver, and between the two of them, I managed to complete the 3 stars on all of the campaign stages. That's the goal, right? And then straight after that, you can start going into Nightmare, which of course you'll have to substitute for a Nightmare farmer in later game, pretty much. Okay, so in terms of dungeons, now the dragon's going to be the highlight area, but I must say, guys, he's been really good in a lot of areas from a free-to-play standpoint. Stuff like the Fire Knight with that A3 ability is a great way to deplete that shield counter, especially with those Phantom Touch procs. And then even in stuff like the Spider's Lair, you're able to just keep taking down those spiderlings as you get to like stages 13, for example. Great in the Minotaur's Labyrinth for farming that as well, and just getting through stuff like the Ice Golem with those poison ticks. And even in the Potion Keeps, like pretty much a jack of all trades here. Jack of all trades. I guess the most popular one, let's just go into... I was going to do stage 20, but I know it's like a 3.5-minute farm with the team I put together. Let's just go into stage 16 just to demonstrate the team, but definitely works on the higher stages. Let's get a super raid in. Why not? I get some speed gear, right? So what's the kind of team that I put together here? So we've got an Ally Protector, a decreased attack option, which is going to be great. We've got the decreased defense option from the Ugo, who I got for free from a promo code. We then got Tagore for some increased speed and some revivals when we need it, as well as the poisons and the damage from Kael, who's going to help us get through the waves, but also to decimate the boss once we get up to him. Someone like a Both Durantid is actually very powerful as well for progression, if you manage to pull him, because you actually receive 50% less damage from poison debuffs. So if you're struggling with the true Wrath of the Dragon, someone like Both Durantid can actually slot in very well, especially with that increased accuracy to help you reach those thresholds. All right, Kael, let's do it, buddy. Boom. And then Ally Protection here. Just to make sure that we can survive these hits, right? So there's the poison tick of that A1, decreased attack, so we're not taking as much of a hit. And all of this synergy together is just going to allow you to just really climb the stages. And I think on my free-to-play account, I managed to get to hard mode stage 6 or 7 using some similar strategies with a few legendaries as well that I got, such as Alice. So there we go. Antibiotic spray. I don't want to smell that, but look at those poison ticks once the boss takes a turn here. So getting some more decreased attack out, bit of a cleanse, synergy working really well. A 100% chance getting those poisons out. This is really effective. All right, the boss is about to take a turn. Look at all those ticks. 14,000, 14,000. And before you know it, this boss is going to be taken down. And this is where something like that blessing, we can convert to the higher variation, is going to be really good for just speeding up the process if you manage to get that blessing on your champion. And I believe when the Altar of Souls actually opens, I think they give you some free resources to get some summons. So maybe if you put them in your rare wish list, you might get lucky. Because I think that's how I got my soul as well on my free-to-play account. So after this last tick here, even without raw damage, this boss is going to be down. Here we go. One more turn and... Ooh, nearly. We nearly got it, but we got the final smack there. And do we get anything cool here? Accuracy, crit rate, and attack percent. Okay. And, all right, that's going straight in the bin. So yeah, overall, look at this, guys. 592,000 damage coming out from our Kael here. All down to that AoE damage on the waves and also the poisons against the dragon himself. So cool. Yeah, and that will kind of carry down into the later stages. And as you see, like, it might take a long time. 7 minutes, 50 seconds. But in the grand scheme of things, I think this is the team I used. But I had Alice in there as well. So, okay, shall we go into any other areas in the dungeons? I guess we could showcase the Minotaur's Labyrinth, you know, if you want to start farming your scrolls. Let's just say, let's take out all these beastie legendaries, right? So we've got a decreased defense option. I would say for some time you might need 2 champions to get the job done. And let's just say I wanted to farm some scrolls for my Morag. We get for free at some point as well, right? So decreased defense, boom. Wave 1 pretty much down. Doesn't matter if that champion dies, it's all good. There's the poisons. Then we're going to go into round 2. Straight into another ability. And our target's most likely just going to be our food one, which is going to be fine. He took a bit of a smack there. HP% aura really helping out as well. But the way that I was doing it, especially when I was progressing, I was using like 3 champions because you want to farm up your scrolls, right, to a certain level. And it's just going to be great. And also, Ugo can pick them back up if she's the last one standing. So nice. Even if Kael dies, we're just going to bring him straight back with our Ugo here. Decrease defense. And this one shouldn't be too long. I would say somewhere around 1 minute 30 or so. Not too bad for a rare champion, right? To take down the hardest stage of the Minotaurs. Oh, he took a bit of a smack there. Look at that. But here's the poison ticks. This is where it starts to ramp up. So boom, starting to get those ticks now. Ooh, look at that A1, putting in that damage. That decreased defense. Oof. Here we go, and this should be the final hit now. Poison should kill him off. Very close. Oh, we did it in under the time that I thought. 1 minute 19. Actually, not much of a discrepancy with all my legendary champions. So, almost 1 million damage here on the KO in the Minotaurs. So yeah, if you got an Ugo, definitely pair them together because she can passively bring all the champions back if she's the last one standing. So, and she could be built for a very tanky build, right? All right, so next up here, let's just go into the clan boss. One of my favorite areas in Raid Shadow Legends. Oh no, we're teasing some of the damage. We're teasing some of the damage. So, okay. So as you progress, I guess for a core team, or core roles, should I say, for players progressing, there's a few things you want to look out for. Decrease defense and weaken to enhance your damage. You want some increased speed to outlap, right? Take some more turns against the Demon Lords. You want something like a leech. A leech in a team with someone like an Ugo is very strong if you don't have all of your champions built in that lifesteal. Because let's be real, it's really hard to get enough gear and enough silver to slap onto all of your champions so everyone's got a lifesteal, when you could just use something like a leech, which is going to allow you to heal by 18% of the damage inflicted, which is also going to help scale with those mastery procs that we're going to get at that tier 6. Yes, she's also got a heal in the team. We got some more decreased attack and a burn with the Coffin Smasher, which isn't really needed. Let's take him out, actually. Put something else a bit better in for now. And then we've also got an Ally Protector, which actually carried me up to a 4 key of Ultra Nightmare on my free-to-play account. As well as a decreased attack, Ally Protection, and yeah, just really good. Definitely not the best Ally Protector, but you got to deal with what you got on this kind of account, right? And I guess let's just go with... I'm just trying to not put the legendaries in here for an epic team. Maybe we put both the Rancid in? Yeah, let's just put both the Rancid in. Why not? He's going to do something, I guess. Anyone else here? I'd have probably opted in for someone like Sabbather because we don't have increased defense or increased attack. That's going to allow us to sustain better, but also deal more damage from our Kael. And that's kind of why I would use someone like an Arbiter for that kind of role. But yeah, we're just going to go in and just see how it runs, right? And then I'll put some of the legendaries in so you could just see a bit of an end game standpoint as well, or later game. So here we go, we're going increased speed, decreased defense, getting those poisons on, and look at all of those 40,000 ticks, guys. All of those poison procs. This is where a lot of our damage is going to come from our Kael. Like, you may be thinking, oh, why is my Kael doing so much damage, even though my other champions and stuff like Warmaster, it's all of those poisons. It's more that than the raw damage here. And you can see the difference between the 2.5% version being the 20,000 versus the 40,000 procs, right? All right, so here we go. So can we get the A3 again? And this is where something like a reflex build could be really good as well from the ice column, because it can help you recycle that poison debuff. But at the same time, you need to be wary of overstacking on the debuff bar, because you only get 10 debuffs in the clan boss that you can place before you're overcapped. So that can stop you from placing decreased attack, decreased defense, weakens these key components to a team like we see. And if you're overstacking with your poisons, you're not going to be able to do that, which is unfortunate. So yeah, definitely being wary of how much you're placing, and maybe not opting in for something like a reflex might be better, YST. So yeah, not too bad. We're at 5 turns here. Doing what, 2.5 million damage. Hopefully we can get well past the 1 key. And both the Rancid is actually working as our buff extender as well, keeping that increased speed up for longer, and overall just going to be really nice. And cleansing off a stun target so we can get some more attacks out and some more damage. So the synergy starting to come together once you start getting to these brutal and nightmare difficulties. You really have to start putting these to work together, right? So yeah, I think we've seen a bit of what he's bringing to the table, the poison ticks. We're going to do a bit of a quick battle feature now, just to see it in action. So let's just go here. Quick battle. Let's just see how much damage that he did with all those poisons, guys. So on the hard, we got 20.45 million, but 10 million damage coming out from our Kael here. Now, if we want to start taking it to the next level, once you start getting some legendary champions, maybe you've done a fusion or two, got some books in them, some blessings, some smites, right? Let's just try take out both the Rancid. We could put someone like Mad Hatter in there, who's going to lead in for more attacks for our Kael, and also the Weaken to enhance our damage. And also, Alice could have been great. Is there any other way that I could make this team a little bit better? See, Dawncaller Sabbather would have been perfect to highlight here. But nice auras. Do you know what? I think this would be pretty fine. But we don't have the auto battle feature for Nightmare, unfortunately. Maybe we'll try Brutal. Let's try Brutal. Here we go. So 1 legendary in here. How much does it make it? So look, we did 2 million damage more than we did in the hard modes. And he's now doing 12 million damage because we've got the Weaken in there, the ally attacks, and things are starting to come together. So just layering these foundations. But overall, for an early to mid-game champion, Kael can be really effective to take you into these later stages. And I'll show you how effective he can be on my main account as well. So cool. That's how he can be effective in the clan boss. In the Chimera, did some pretty cool stuff if you're lacking on options, and Hydra wasn't too effective. So okay, let's go into the faction wars here, guys. So simply, just to show you how good he can be for getting that Bloodstone to forge your perception, I'm currently on stage 12 with 1 built champion being a rare in Kael himself, right? Let's do something like I don't know, we do a boss stage. Let's do a boss stage. Or not, let's just do... We'll do stage 11. I felt like the other one was a bit ropey when I was taking it down. Got very lucky with RNG. So here we go. Look at this. We're just ramping through. And you want to start putting at least 5 champions, even if it's just like some crappy food ones at the start. Just try and get those 3 stars. Try and get these resources and work towards your Lydia the Death Siren being one of the best free champions in the game. And yeah, you're just going to perform really well for somewhere like Faction Wars. Bit of a reset from the Painkeeper, which is nice. A1s. It's actually really good. I timed it with the Faction Wars, right? Oh, look at these dudes. They're just putting up the block damage on Unkillable. They're like, yo, YST, forget your video. We got Unkillable. Your Kael can't do nothing. Ally protection as well, but we're going to sit him down in a second, guys. Here we go. Oh, everyone's taking a hit. He's going to come through. Come on, Kael. This is why we want some speed in our build as well, so we can outpace these enemies. So, boom. Taking him down. Bit of a redemption there. So cool. Yeah. So now we're getting some Bloodstone. Like I mentioned, we got some epic resources. We're getting a bit of glyphs to enhance our gear and all of that good stuff. So yeah, that was Faction War, sorry. In the Cursed City, there is some stages where he might be valuable, like the Dark Elves rooms, or... you know, you might need rare attack champions, for instance. So it could definitely have some later game value in the Cursed City. And then in the Doom Tower, going to be effective for the stages to lead up. We'll just do one of them here. And let me just put a little fun team here. You can tell that I've not been on my free-to-play account for a while, so we never had the chance to climb, but I'll show you the secret rooms on the main account. So something like, I don't know, we do something like this. We don't need a bit of protection here. See his damage. So, getting a bit of weaken. Alice going to come through as well. Decrease defense. Boom. And this is the thing, Alice did overshadow my Kael at one point, but for the first 2 months, Kael was hard carrying because, like I mentioned, all of those resources to get Alice up to a level to outperform, you know, and you also have to wait for the blessings that you get from the free chase that you get with this Lemincy. I've said it again. So yeah, it could take a bit of a while, so Kael can really help you carry for your damage aspect up until the stages where your legendary is ready. And boom. How much damage did he do? Wouldn't be crazy. Alice did do a lot of it. He didn't do much, but he's definitely just helping to just bruise some damage against those waves, right? I guess last but not least, let's just go into some PvP. See a bit of action in here. I managed to get some resets for some solid teams. Let's go against this. A few legendaries. Do we showcase the Arbiter? I guess that's not too relatable, but it does kind of highlight the... Okay, I'll show you the kind of team what I feel like is effective. So the idea for this team, this can be correlated with other champions, is we would want... Mad Hat is just way too fast here. So we're going to open up with a weaken, our debuffer. We're going to go with our increased attack. Usually you'd want your speed lead to go first, but she's just 5-star at the moment. You go into decrease defense, and then you go boom, and you wipe them out. And this could be with someone like a War Maiden or someone like a Spirit Host, right? For the lower rarities. Take Mad Hatter out. It's demonstrative of just the speed and how it'd look. So we'd go increase attack, the decrease defense. We're now enhancing our damage offensively with debuffs and also buffs. You lead in with your DPS, wipe them out. So what are these champions that I'm talking about? So we got Spirit Host, which is a Dark Elf that I believe you can farm from the campaign. Where's Spirit Host? Spirit Host! Is she a Dark Elf? Oh, there she is, yeah. So we've got a increased attack on all allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. We've got a speed aura if you don't have a better one. And then we've got someone like War Maiden you can farm as well. With an AoE decreased defense, which is going to be really effective. But I love to use someone like Stag Knight or Duck the Pierced for that role, if you manage to pull them. Let's just try another PvP battle, but with some epics only. So we got a Bifical here. Let's try this out. So if I didn't have the legendaries, I would use something like... I'd probably go for a Protector, because they're really going to struggle at this stage to get through my protection if we outpace them. I would, of course, like someone like a Sabbather, just not built. I'd probably like this. So now we're going like the tanky approach. We're ensuring that we got some survival. So we're going to go for some ally protection. We're going to go for some increased speed to outpace our enemies, right? We're going to lead in with our offensive support. And then we're going to absolutely take them out with someone like a Kael here. So boom, we got a provoke. That's fine because we got a nice A100% crit rate that we can apply some poisons to melt down this champion. Man, imagine having a Gallius Bloodcrest this early on into game. That's pretty wild. And what's he built in? Jeez. Man, he's causing us some problems here. All right, he's dead. Rule the roost. We ruled you, Roost. So yeah, I guess that was all for the free-to-play standpoint. Hopefully you guys found a lot of value in that and how effective your Kael can be for your progression. And one thing else I did just want to go over is some stat priorities within your substats. I don't feel like I went over that. So you want to go for some speed in there, of course. You want to get some crit damage to enhance your damage, right? To pair with your crit rate. Don't just go 100% crit rate of no crit damage, right? That's why we want the crit damage on the amulet. You want some attack percent as well and some accuracy to help you reach those thresholds. So cool, with that all out of the way, let's head over to the main account and turn up the notch. Let's go. So okay then, we're now on my main account where we're going to showcase Kael from a later game standpoint and some areas that I would consider for him personally in these areas. So it's not going to be Dark Kael, but this is somebody you're going to get later on by farming the secret rooms in the Doom Tower. But here he is. You may see he's got a new face. He's got a new skin. He's looking amazing. And this is actually just one of the skins that's available. Let me know which one you like more, by the way. Do you like the Scarlet Masquerade? Or do you like the classic skin, the OG Kael? So cool. This is more of a damage orientated build where we've gone with Savage, which is going to allow us to ignore 25% of the enemy's defense, which we're actually seeing through the chase. Right now, you're going to have some access to some Savage gear if you're lacking that from the Fire Knight's Castle from farming. And oops, let's go back into my champion here. And yeah, we've also paired it with Cruel, which is a gear set that we're going to get from the Demon Lord clan boss. Now you can see that the build is a little bit different here. All right, so now we've got a 100% crit rate, but we've just ramped up that crit damage, turned up the notch on that attack, and the speed as well and the accuracy, allowing us to do these things. Because we managed to get our crit rate through our substats, right? So as you see, 22% crit rate, 11% crit rate, more crit rate here. We've got the Masteries. We've got it in all of our substats, which is allowing us to opt in for crit damage on the gauntlets instead. And then, the crit rate just in the substats. We've got attack percent with some ascension now, taking it to the next level once more. And then we got attack percent with some speed, helping us outpace their enemies. We've still stuck with our accuracy, but we could opt in for attack for some more damage. But I do really value the poison from his kit. We got some crit damage here and also some attack with some attack percent substats here. Overall stats, like I just showed, 100% crit rate, 250% crit damage, nice accuracy, and nice attack. Mastery-wise, we've now switched it over to a bit of a different build. So we've gone for, well, I guess the changes. We're not going to go over all of them again. We've gone for increasing damage to shield targets, because if we see them in some PvE areas or perhaps some PvP battles, we just want to be able to break through those defenses. We've gone Whirlwind of Death to increase that speed, Cycle of Violence, but also the Helm Smasher to have the chance of ignoring some further defense to pair with our Savage gear. We've still got the support tree mainly for the sniper, but you could easily go the defensive tree and get some more counterattacks with stuff like deterrence or retribution here. In terms of my blessings, I've still got the Phantom Touch, not changed that. See that? Not touched that, not changed that, I'll forget it, I had some dad jokes, sorry guys. And we've also got the Malefic Talon as well, with some crit damage to enhance his stats. So cool, what areas do I want to showcase from this standpoint? I guess a faction wars, let's just go back into the normal mode. We're going to take on the hardest mode. Let's take off the Dark Kael. We're going to bring it down to the OG Kael. And what kind of synergy do we have here? We have decreased defense and weaken, a reviver with some stripping of buffs for stuff like the Valkyrie waves. We've got a provoker to control the waves, and then we've got some increased attack from our Mithrala Lifebane. And hopefully he's going to be our primary DPS. We don't really have any other ones outside of some raw damage of our Vizix. So here we go. We can go decrease defense and weaken. Let's see if we can just one-shot a lot of these dudes now. No, we're going to save our provoke for round 2. Save our provoke. And we can actually enhance this even further, guys. We can go an AoE weaken here. I already got it. My bad. Silly me. Boom. Look at that. 113,000 damage coming out from our KO, guys. And you can see once you start layering these foundations onto your enemies, decrease defense, weaken, increase attack, this is where the damage scaling starts to happen and the enemies start to become like flies. You could just squish them, right? Oh, do you know what's so annoying? Physics is just going to keep dropping down the turn meter. Do you know what? Let me just restart this. I was supposed to save it for that ability to take it off. All right. Silly me. I guess we get to see it again in the right way. So we'll just do this. Why not? All right. So now we've enabled this, and now we can take it off. And now we can just one-shot them, right? Pretty much. Boom. Well, I think we've seen like 140,000 that time. Nice. So now we're going to get a... We're not going to trigger the Valkyrie shield with buffs. What we're going to do instead, block active skills on the damage threat. Turning into a bit of a faction wars guide. Crowd control, so now these Valkyries cannot place their shields. Or we could use a buff stripper, like a Madame Ceres or a Rian the Conjurer. And now, get a bit of a shield. We're going to boost their turn meter, let them lead into their attacks while we're protected. There we go. Let them all let loose with their A1 abilities. I'm just going to click auto from here, actually. Because Kael's going to come round to his abilities again. Boom. All right, so Valkyries might go. But they're petrified from Mifrala's passive, so it doesn't really matter. But usually, you'd be able to just cycle around the Re-end the Conjurer right here, and we would have taken up all of those shields that they just placed. So timing your abilities is crucial, guys. So now, hopefully, Kael could just finish it off with the AoE. He's saving it. He's like, I want to do it against the boss, YST. Can you stop forcing me to do stuff? Let's get an A1 here. Boom. All right, so against the boss, he's going to hopefully be able to just take out these enemies as well. Increase defense and weaken. Big AoE coming out soon. Boom! Half of their health completely down. And Mifrala, if you time it correctly, could just take off the debuffs as well. Boom. Get a block buffs onto the boss. Decrease speed. Is he going to be fit? Oh, unfortunately, Kael was fit here. No! I apologize for such a long video, by the way. I just wanted to kick off my new YouTube journey. In style, I was going to say, just like in depth, like something starting from the bottom, Kael, and then we're going to tone things up, guys. Cool. So that is the Faction Wars 21 boss down, starting to get some better glyphs and a nice amount of damage, outperforming even our Void Legendary in Vizixter and Bode there. He's actually got some pretty decent damage built into her. Clan boss wise, I really wanted to show you this. Well, I can show you this, I guess. Yeah, why not? So I'm putting him into Ultra Nightmare with an endgame team, okay? And we're going to see how much damage that this Kael in the build you just seen can do. This is endgame stuff though, guys, alright? This is not always going to happen. Here we go. So we just did a 1 key on the Ultra Nightmare clan boss. He did 28 million with all of those poison ticks. And it's just really cool to see him in a non-unkillable team pumping out some damage. But of course, it's probably not going to last as long. Like you can see 29 turns. This is a team all about no speed tune, just as much turns as you can take in a short period of time. Just thought it'd be really fun to showcase that. So cool. In terms of some other areas, I guess Faction Wars, Doom Tower Secret Rooms. So you're going to see some stages such as, let's just find, I think it's SR5, it could be. Yeah, this one here. So rare attack champions only, and when you're trying to gather those fragments to get the legendary champions from the Doom Tower, this can be a room you're like, damn, I don't want to be dealing with this. But I put together a fun little team here. So we've got Harrier, shout out to Ash, Dilgo in a stun set for some crowd control, and then Eris, who's pretty cool as well. I guess he's probably the best aura. Yeah. And he could be very useful in an area like this, right? So we can go with increased speed, outpace our enemies. We're going to go with an AoE. And I guess we could save our decreased defense, or AoE, sorry. Actually, no, let's... Boom. Oh, look at him go. I'm going to go for a big nuke, take them down, save our abilities for the next round. And this is where you can... This is hard Doom Tower, guys. Hard Doom Tower Secret Rooms. He's really going to be able to perform here. So right now, who's going to choose as the most threat? Cold Heart. Drop down our turn meter. Take out one of the Cold Hearts. Random hitter. Nearly took down the second Cold Heart. Now, we're going to go with an AoE ability. Boom, boom, boom. We've got a stun. Increase speed. And you can see in like some of these areas it could be really useful. We have to watch out for dying here. You might have to re-roll the dice for your stun set champions. Ooh. The Dilgo's coming for us, guys. Okay. Alright, let's take out the Hyria. Nice decreased defense there. Let's save all of our abilities. Should we go for the A2? Boom. And dead. Nice. So now we're down to the final wave. We've got some more increased speed from our ARS. Hopefully we could cycle Cold Heart on time, otherwise it could get very shaky. Oh, we got the AoE. It's not going to get shaky. And there we go. MVP champion for the Secret Room. And this can kind of correlate into like the Curse City stuff as well, I guess. If you're lacking some options in those stages. And he did 451,000 damage in Secret Room 5 on the hard Doom Tower. So a bit of a late game use, right? Niche, but really cool. Last but not least, I just wanted to showcase arena stuff. I don't know, who should we take on? Maybe someone like this. Let's take out my main DPS. Get a Kael in there. Sorry, guys, I didn't get too creative. I don't have an Arbiter that built at the moment. So I'm just going to have to... Let's take out the reset, maybe. And can we get a decreased defense in there? Perhaps? Where's Lydia? Lydia the Death Siren. Actually, should we just do this? Yeah, I guess so. Should be fine. It's just mainly just about seeing his damage, right? So we can go increase attack into decrease defense and weaken. Oh, he took off my increased attack. Damn it. He's going to die. He's going to die from the burns. Oh, no. Shield. No, he's still alive. Boom. Oh, Kael. Oh, my gosh. What a comeback. Oh, the block revived the synergies. Look at this. Yo. All right, so maybe it didn't turn out that bad. That was fun. There we go. So sitting down some damage in the classic arena. Oh, that was really cool. Who else should we take down? Yes, that's just a meme team. This looks like something that you might see in like Gold 4, Gold 5. But it is Armands. Do I do the Armands versus the Armands? I guess we can, right? Like, if he's using it, I'm using it. Okay, here we go. So, boom. Gonna lock them down, some crowd control, right? And no, we'll keep them all in the race. Why not? We're gonna set up with decreased defense and weaken. And now Kael's gonna come through with a boom. No increased attack, almost 100,000 damage. Imagine with the increased attack, would have been a lot more valuable, right? So you can go 10-meter booster, like someone like a Deacon Armstrong, increasing and decreasing. Set up with your offensive support, decrease defense, weaken, into your damage dealer, and take out some pretty hard opponents as well. So guys, on that note, my throat is hurting. That is going to be all for today's video. I never thought I'd be speaking about a rare champion for this long. I wish you guys an amazing rest of your day. Subscribe if you want to see some more champion guides here on the channel, and I'll see you all on a video soon. Peace.